And hopefully, with that, we should be live. I'm just going to double check as per usual, folks. Just bear with me 2 seconds. Yep, I can hear myself. Okay, lovely. So, hello, faithful viewers, and welcome back to part 2 of the Star Wars character tier list inspired by At Beyond the Dune Sea, a Star Wars podcast found on YouTube and Spotify. Like last week, I'm here with Dan. Say hello, Dan.
Hello, Dan.
Now he's just experimenting with his Discord options. He might switch over to his laptop in due course. So if we have any technical problems, apologies in advance. But without further ado, hopefully everything is okay. We shall go straight over to the tier list. So we have our progress saved from last week. We've got obviously S tier being the moral high ground, A tier being hero of the Republic, B being real rebels, aren't we? C being scruffy looking, D being nerf herder, and F being scum and villainy. As you all can see here, everybody, we've got our rankings from last week. And this week we are on the second half, kicking off with Lando Calrissian. So, where would we put Lando? I thought you were going to say something. I'm cutting you off. I'm sorry.
No. It's fine. It's just pondering on where Lando really falls, because I'd say he definitely falls within like the Han category for the first half of like his time in the canon. Lawrence, are you sharing it in the Discord? Just
I am, yeah.
Showing on my end. Oh, right, because it says this. Hang on, I might need to just mess around with it to get a good look of it myself.
Live technical problems, everyone.
There we go. There we go. No, it's fine. It's fine. Just double checking. We got the original scruffy looking Nerf herder himself, Han Solo, in scruffy looking. Where I would place Han, I'd say
Lando.
he's just. Oh, sorry. Yeah, for those unaware, our weekly call that I usually have with Lawrence and the other members of the channel has thoroughly fucked up my sleep pattern, so you'll have to forgive me for the odd bit of delirium. Yeah, where to place Lando?
What I think is really interesting about Lando is some of the expanded media stuff has really given him a bit more depth than what the films just present him as. And there's one particular book that immediately comes to mind for me, which is Shadow of the Sith, which is kind of a prequel to Force Awakens, but retroactively ties in a lot of Rise of Skywalker shenanigans. But it really paints Lando as a very heartwarmingly decent bloke who's not motivated by selfish things at all. He is, because in the sequel chronology, his daughter has been kidnapped, presumably by the First Order. So he's on kind of a quest to try and find her. And when he comes across the tale of Rey's parents, because he actually is kind of caught up in all of that, he makes it a personal endeavor to try and save them from Ochi and whoever else is pursuing them, because his daughter has been taken. So he knows what it's like for a young girl like Rey to have her parents taken from her and vice versa, etc. So that novel actually really paints him as such a decently good human being, despite, the scoundrelness that he has.
He just didn't care enough to swing by Jakku and pick her up.
Well, he didn't know that's where she'd gone. And again, if you read the book, then you can actually get the full picture as to why he's on Pasaana in Rise of Skywalker, why he resigns himself to being that everything. But the overall point being, is that book really does paint him in a very superb and honest and brilliant light. And then if you look at his exploits with the New Republic and how he stays on, I think the Charles Soule comic set between Empire and Jedi also goes quite a long way to paint him as a really good an honest to God person. So I think just based on that alone, we're probably looking maybe a high B tier at the very least.
Hmm.
That's my pitch anyway.
Well, you are more educated than me on this matter, so I will defer to your judgment on this, I think.
Okay. I think. I mean, it's also not to. We do have to acknowledge his earlier escapades as a smuggler and a scoundrel and all of that. So that is some marks against him. So I think I would probably want to put him maybe top of B, like tip top of B.
Mhm.
Okay. I've ever
I
got Luke's.
mean, I mean, putting him above like rebel heads, like he's only really in the rebellion by Return of the Jedi, though, and he does well. I suppose sell out Han to the Empire would be a bit of a strong point because they basically take loyalty hostage, don't they?
Mhm. Again, they're the points knocked against him, but I think they're just minimal parts of his overall character, especially when you're taking the grander scope of all the expanded universe stuff. He's a
Mm.
much better character than he is portrayed as is in Empire. I think he's got more
Yeah.
heroic bones in him than probably the likes of Akbar and Holdo. Hey, that's what I think anyway. If you want to argue for anywhere else, then go right on ahead.
Well, far be it for me to knock down Billy D. Williams.
Okay then, so Luke Skywalker himself is next.
Hmm. Again, interesting one because he does have like his kind of peak, like heroic periods of his life. Well, much less without the old canon, but also it certainly takes a bit of convincing to get him on board in A New Hope. Um, although he is, was it the Imperial Flight Academy that he wanted to apply to?
Yeah,
So I don't. It's unsure like how sympathetic he was to the rebellion. Um, like prior to the beginning of A New Hope.
I
Um,
reckon he was very sympathetic because he does say to Obi-Wan that he does hate the Empire. But if you look at it from the standpoint of he is a farm boy with aspirations kind of above his station, but yet he's stranded at a backwater farm in the middle of nowhere where there's no life prospects for him. Logically, going to the Imperial Academy is just a golden ticket away from the mundanity of Tatooine. Whether he would stick it out, I don't know, but it is a golden ticket away from that mundanity, and it is a way of pursuing his then true passion of being a pilot. So I think that's the only reason, really, why he's interested in going to the Imperial Academy. Not really for the sake of the Imperial doctrine, but just so he can get out of there.
but oh no, Uncle Owen needed him on the farm for another year.
Well, Uncle Owen doesn't want his pappy to hunt him down and make him something evil.
I mean, did Owen ever know that? Like, the impression I got in the Obi-Wan series is that Owen thought that Anakin was dead. I'm not sure Owen ever knew that Anakin was Vader.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, fair point. I believe he does think that Anakin is when they're truly dead. Okay, so probably then he just wants to make sure that maybe the Emperor, because I'm sure Obi-Wan would have told Owen and Beru something as to why they need to keep Luke safe. They must have been given some little nugget of information. Probably not specifics about Anakin, but maybe the Emperor's personal interest, possibly.
Hmm, maybe. I like how we're talking as if Owen were on this list.
Could you imagine?
I could actually.
Yeah, for where he stands up to Reva, S tier.
Very good point. Very good point. Um, but yeah, Luke. Getting back to Luke. I'd say the major hit against him is the fact is his self-imposed exile, and him essentially letting the First Order rise to power,
Mhm.
prior to the sequel trilogy. After Kylo Ren goes all postal on his academy.
But I
We did,
reckon those events are only very close to The Force Awakens. Again, like Shadow of the Sith, he goes on this quest with Lando to try and rescue a young Rey. And in The Last Jedi, he literally stands up against the First Order on his own, wielding a laser sword. And his legend goes out to inspire the citizens and children of the galaxy to stand up. Viva
yeah.
la revolution!
And he even practiced social distancing.
Before it was popular.
Yeah. Um,
I think there's only one
you must
place on this list that
you
Luke
must be
can go
careful
to.
when sensing the future, Luke.
I think there's only one place that we can really put Luke, but it's a question as to where, like, who does he go above?
So the moral high ground, you're saying?
Yes, I'm definitely. I'm not saying F, if that's what you mean,
No. I was just um
because he's the guy. He's the guy who stands up to the ultimate evil. He's the guy who sees his right hand man and still believes that there is good in him. Luke is the epiphany of
yeah.
what a hero is.
Yeah, let's put him at the top of S tier because even at the end of his arc, Ezra has, well, maybe not in Ahsoka. He's mellowed out by then, but Ezra definitely still has like edge to him, that Luke doesn't necessarily have.
Sure.
Um, yeah. Plus, if we'd put him
I've
any lower, that they would have hunted us. The fan base would have hunted us down and put our heads on pikes.
Oh yeah, it'd have been the great film Decrypted Purge. Order 66 does all.
Yeah. With this channel, it would have been Order 69.
Only if Bradley's involved.
So true.
Now, who have we got next? It's Stellan Skarsgård's character from Andor. I'm trying to remember what his name is. Is it Luthen Rail? I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, Luthen Rail. Here we
Yeah,
are.
it's
So, Mister Guy who has sacrificed everything in the name of a rebellion. Uh,
even other people.
yeah. Now I'm still in the middle of rewatching Andor season one at the minute. I've just finished the Aldani Aldani. How do you say that? Aldani arc. That's it. The heist.
Mm.
Uh, but that doesn't have a lot of relevance to Luthen, really. Not really. He's a tricky one because he's in that moral grey zone of the characters, isn't he? Really.
Yeah, and as you were very quick to point out last time, we're talking about heroism
Hmm.
specifically, and like he would be the first person to say that he is about as far as from that as you can get.
Yeah.
Um,
It's kind of a pity that Saw Gerrera isn't on this list, as far as I can see, because that'd
yeah,
have been a good comparison.
why didn't you put him on this list?
Hey, I didn't make the list.
Do better, man.
Do better. Do beyond the Dune Sea. Do better.
Yeah. Um,
Luthen.
well, I mean, to be for all his talk, he doesn't really get hands-on very much, at least not so far.
No.
Like he's a string puller, a financier, a I feel like, I mean, the speech he gives is very powerful and all that, but when you look at least so far, the things he's actually done, maybe just hyping yourself up a bit there, dude. Because I think there's only like one instance where he's at on screen at least, where he's actively um engaged in combat with the Empire, that being the whole ship sequence. Um, and most of the stuff he does is like most of the stuff that we see him do is just paying other people to do things, and even then, like he with Saw Gerrera, um, memory's a bit fuzzy, but didn't he specifically not tell Saw about something?
I cannot remember for the life of me. I've not even got to that bit in the rewatch yet.
Yeah.
He's probably, I don't know, D tier, like high D or very low C, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, above the likes of Iden Versio, certainly.
Do you think?
Um, who's that at the bottom of C tier?
Bottom C, that's. I keep referring to him as Ice Cube's son. I forget his character name.
You know, let's put him at the top of D tier.
Top D, you put him above Iden Versio.
Well, yeah, Iden Versio only defected when it became her problem.
But, counter
If it,
argument, would you not say that as a hero, Iden did more active heroism than Luthen?
not particularly. I mean, her time in the rebellion was more or less exclusively focused on going after her father
But
specifically,
but
and
she fought in the liberation of Naboo. She fought at the Battle of Jakku. She was instrumental in getting the dreadnought plans to the Resistance from the First Order, which cost her life.
true. One could argue that that was circumstantial because she was in that situation first and foremost to figure out what happened to Dell. That wasn't a situation that she deliberately put herself in. Then I suppose that's just arguing semantics. Um, I think the fact of the matter is we just haven't seen all of Luthen's story yet.
No.
And I think that Iden probably did worse things when she was in the Empire than Luthen did when he than Luthen's done as part of the rebellion.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd say
So
now the only question that matters left: we put him above Jar Jar.
I mean, probably. To be fair, yeah, I'm putting him
Uh,
above Jar Jar.
uh,
Right. So next up, we've got Nick Fury, aka Sam Jackson, aka Mace Windu.
hmm.
Mace MF
uh,
Windu.
I don't suppose you have another tier that's outside of the window.
Huh.
Um, yeah, very funny.
Now, see, the thing about Mace is that he's a good bloke, but he is so narrow-minded. He like when you think of the Jedi dogma and just how clouded they become in the prequel trilogy. He is like him and Ki-Adi-Mundi especially are the epitome. Plus, he's an asshole. He's a straight up asshole to both Anakin and Ahsoka and to like the 13th sister, Iskat Akaris in Rise of the Red Blade. He's such a pardon my colourful language here. He's a bellend. He really is. But you know, his ultimate character downfall and where all this comes from is that he does have a secret love. It's the Republic, and he's so enamored with the concept of the Galactic Republic that it just divorces him from being able to see any other kind of point of view. And then, of course, you've got his dabbling of the dark side with the use of Vapat. So I think those traits really do just bump him down and down and down on this list of heroism. Sure, he does some good stuff with the name of the Republic. He helps liberate Ryloth. He helps deal with the Zillo Beast crisis. He tries to preserve the Republic from the threat of Darth Sidious, but he's also an asshole.
Right.
I want to say like mid to low C tier, honestly.
Oof.
Anakin's more of a hero than him. Han's more of a hero than him, easily.
You're saying Darth Vader is a better person than Mace Windu?
No, I'm saying he's a better hero. I'm not saying he's a better person. But as a hero, yes.
Anakin's place in this list was always going to be dicey.
Hello, Luke. No, you've not missed too much. We've only put on like 2 or 3 people so far.
Oh, Luke's back.
Yeah.
Cool. Is Luke? I mean, yeah, I know.
One of my other friends from uni, you arse.
I know he was on last time, but is he like a? Is he? Does I never asked? Has he been on your other streams at all?
No,
Luke,
no.
Are you a long time fan of the channel?
Yes.
Don't put words in his mouth, Lawrence.
We put you in S tier, Luke. Happy? How's our weekend's been? Not too bad. Not too bad.
Yeah, it's been quiet. Time will tell whether it's a good quiet or a bad quiet. Hey ho, could go either way. Spice of life is finding out which one of those it is. Anyway, sure.
So,
Mace Windu.
What was happening when you came into it, Luke? Is I was just having a rant about how much of an asshole Mace Windu is and how he should be like mid C tier, low C tier. Counter argument? Yeah? Yeah? Got nothing?
I'd say he's a better person than Bo-Katan.
Would you?
More of a hero than Bo-Katan.
Would you?
Well, put it this way. Mace never compromises in his convictions, like towards the Republic and all that. Whereas Bo, as soon as her sister bit the dust, pulled a full 180.
But Mace is an asshole.
Bo-Katan's a bitch. What do you want me to say? And I'm not saying that in like an insulting way. I'm saying that for all of the less than desirable personality traits that Mace has, like Bo was a bloody terrorist.
But Mace tried to perform treason on the Galactic Republic. He tried to assassinate the Chancellor. He's a terrorist, from a certain point of view.
Yeah, well, from a certain point of view, you're an asshole. Specifically, a worm's eye view. Anyway, I would personally put him between
hang on.
Din and Bo-Katan.
Between Din and before. Our chat is saying he is what a Galactic Republic Jedi should be, and that's the problem. He embodies the politicized, corrupt version of the Jedi. Precisely. He is corrupt. He is arrogant. He is narrow-minded. But he loves the Republic and everything it stands for. All right, I will compromise. I will put him between Din and Bo. So next up, we've got is it Mirren from Fallen Order and Survivor? Is that her name?
Yes.
Again, I've not really played the second game. First game, she was there. She wasn't in the first game a lot, though, really, was she?
Not a lot. The only the only part of her story that I would be unfamiliar with, really, is the Jedi Survivor prequel novel, which I do have an Audible, but I'm saving it for later.
I meant to read that, but I never got around to it because my hype for it all just kind of died out, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna try marathoning Star Wars again, and it will be included.
I mean, I actually, on my marathon that I'm doing, I skipped Fallen Order and Survivor. Because they're not essential to the wider plot, so yeah.
That is because I am an alpha gamer and you are simply a beta cuck, Lawrence.
Yes, well, next week's live stream will be me trying to do Last of Us Part 2, so, fingers crossed our software can handle that.
Yeah, but yeah, I'd say, because in Jedi Survivor, she's more there for just Cal as personally, than she is there and actively, backing, the Jedi or the Rebellion specifically, or anything like that. So I'd say, just for lack of participation in fighting the Empire in the grand scheme of things, I think she'd go below Cal, at least. Yes, she's a Night Sister, and she was, and she did help out that fallen Jedi dude, whose name I've forgotten for the longest time, but her only real sin for that is being grossly misinformed for the longest time, because her whole kind of shtick for a vast chunk of her life was that Grievous came down and butchered the Night Sisters, and she saw a giant monster wielding lightsabers, so she assumed the Jedi.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I can. Go on.
I am still a little bit salty we didn't get a sneaky cameo in Tales of the Empire during the Grievous Massacre, if I'm being honest. But yeah, that was the only good.
I don't think I can put her any higher than, again, like mid C tier. Like, Anakin's more of a hero, Han's more of a hero, I'd say Din's more of a hero, Mace is probably more of a hero, Bo, yeah, Jin, yeah, Chira, I think she probably maybe falls somewhere in like the Cassian, Hunter, Gina Carano. I can't remember her character name.
Already.
Cara, that was it. I think she's somewhere around there, probably.
Okay, some.
Chat saying D. Interesting.
Oh, she ain't it. Well, I suppose when you look at it, because also like some of the people on D have done more to help, it's like their fellow citizens than she has typically. I mean, she because a lot of good she's done is been more in just relation to people she's close to, rather than doing it out of principle. It's a bit hard to judge. Um, uh, in that context, Lodi.
Lodi. So above grief, below grief, above Iden, above
Bet-
below
between grief and
Cobb
not a
or Iden.
vet.
Between him and Cobb. Okay, I won't argue. That's fine. Next up, Mon Mothma. See, the thing about Mon Mothma, she's a very good person again, but she's kind of bridled, I suppose, with fear in a way, because obviously she doesn't want to get caught with by the Empire. She wants to do everything very behind closed doors and everything. I think she'd probably stick her with the rest of the other rebel leaders in Mid B, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, what you're describing there is more just she, um, up until she basically gives the Emperor the middle finger in the Senate and then makes a run for it.
Oh man, do you think they'll recreate that for Andor season 2? Because I know we've seen it in Rebels already.
Well, I mean, it's hard to imagine them not doing it.
We're definitely going to see the Gorman massacre, which is the tipping point.
Mm.
Do you know
And
what
she
that was in
was
Legends, by the way? Do you know what that was in Legends?
what?
So in Legends, the Gorman massacre was basically Tarkin dropping his Star Destroyer onto the population of Gorman.
You talking like crash landing or just straight up parking?
Straight up parking on them.
Jesus Christ.
Now, obviously, it's going to be different in canon, but that's what it used to be.
Um, blimey.
Chat is saying A tier, she is the heart and morality of the rebellion. Yeah, but also in terms of heroism, she doesn't do that much, really. I can't put
If
I can't put her any higher than that bar or hold her.
I was going to say, if she were in A tier, it would be the bottom of A tier because everyone on that list has been is she doesn't have the hands-on experience everyone else on that list does.
Precisely.
Tempted to say maybe more than Lando.
Maybe not in the field though.
Again, yeah, she was essentially like along with along with Bail Organa, she was one of the earliest people like on the rebellion, set it up at the Foundation.
Why is Bail Organa not on this list? The other dude C. What are you playing at? Why is he not here?
I don't know, Lawrence. Maybe you just shouldn't steal your lists.
Hey, hang on a minute. I shush. Right, where are we putting her?
Um, oh, below Lando.
Below Lando? Sure. Looking at B, do we want to maybe reorganize this at all? Because I'm just thinking like Cal and Finn, are they really below the others now? I'm not sure.
You know what? Let's put Cal above Akbar.
Yeah, I think I can be persuaded.
Not so sure about Finn though. Purely on the basis that just that there isn't enough to really chew on.
Okay. Right, next up, Obi-Wan. He's a good fella. He's a very good fella. He is what a Jedi should be.
Obi-Wan is Ben.
Well, it's Obi-Wan
Obi-Wan's
because
a
we
name
don't.
I haven't heard. Obi-Wan's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
I'm trying to think of a meme to counter that with, but I don't know. Didn't you guys say you'd reorganize all the tiers at the end? Maybe. Maybe. Depends on how long this will go on for, Luke, honestly.
I mean, you got to put Obi-Wan on the moral high ground
For the
for more
meme!
reasons. But more than that, Obi-Wan is maybe like along with Ahsoka, he is the epitome of what a Jedi should be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say that he maybe inches in a few places ahead of Ahsoka on the principle that despite all of the crap thrown his way, he never wavers once. And it's like a sentiment that I've seen in the fan base over and over again is of a lot of Jedi, he had a lot of reasons. Like, he would have had a lot of reasons to become a Dark Jedi with all the shit that happened to him, but not even a flicker.
Never wavers. Not in the face of Maul leering down at him over Sabine's body. Not of Anakin choking Padme and then burning on Mustafar. He holds his ground, protecting Luke all those years against the likes of Tuskens and even Maul when he comes a knocking. Yeah,
Even gives Maul a dignified death after everything.
yeah. He got tortured, saw his loved one die, saw his master die, watched his brother fall to the dark side, and never even wavered in his devotion to the light. Well said, chat, well said. He's an S. But we're an S.
Yeah. Um.
I don't think he'd be tip
Now,
top because the thing that makes Luke superior is that Luke believes in the goodness in Anakin. Obi-Wan, by the time he is a Force ghost, has lost all faith in any hope of redemption. So he's got a certain level of pessimism about him, whilst
yeah.
Luke is full of hope. So
The thing is, like,
maybe just below Luke.
Ezra, Kanan, and even Sia do, like, during the Empire years, certainly do a lot more kind of practical stuff and, like, help those around them. But again, it just kind of loops back with Obi-Wan because the reason he stays on Tatooine, doesn't get involved in rebellion, is because of his commitment to the mission of protecting Luke, which, from his perspective, is the much bigger picture.
Mm-hmm. Just saying, put in between Ezra and Kanan.
Oh, above Kanan.
Hmm.
You know what? Yeah, I agree.
Okay, sure.
I'd say, like, when it comes to, I don't know, just like, yeah, Kanan, he's a great master and everything. But Obi-Wan, not sure I can find the right words for it, but you get what I mean.
Let's speed round the next one. We got Omega from Bed Bitch. I mean,
Um,
she's pretty. She's the most heroic of the Bad Batch, I would say. Never willing to back
yeah,
down, always wanting to help people. She goes out of her way to help Crosshair on many occasions. I would probably, honestly, I would say she's an A tier.
yeah. But is I'd put her above Echo. No, below Echo. I mean, just
No,
because
I'd put her above Echo.
really.
Yeah. Because Bad Batch is still relatively fresh in my mind, all things considered, with my rewatch. So, yeah, and as Chat says, if any of the Bad Batch deserves B or A tier, it's her.
Okay.
I would almost be inclined to put her between maybe Heroin Fives. I mean, this is high praise coming from me, who has actively shat on this show for the longest time.
High praise coming from someone who actively skipped episodes of the show and called them shit without ever watching them.
Hey, I'm not going to watch episodes that are filler, okay, when it comes to that, because I was disgruntled. Alright? Bad Batch is a far
Okay,
more enjoyable
that,
experience if you skip the filler.
hmm.
I'm saying between Hero and Fives, that's what I think.
Okay, I concede.
Well, I mean,
By
do you
the
have a
way,
con?
you're not picking up like the sound of me eating noodles at all, are you?
No, thankfully, everybody needed to know that. Thanks. No. It explains the periods of silence. Okay. Right. Interesting. Next, we got Osha from Acolyte, a Sith Lord in the making. Just put her in F. We don't even need to debate this, do we? We're putting her in F. Surely.
We're at the bottom of D.
But that's generous. She becomes a Sith. She murders a Jedi at the end. Soul, who we'll get to later. This
Hey,
bit.
she tries to do the right thing though, which is more than you can say for Boba and God damn it, why have I forgotten her name again?
Fennec. This biatch is F tier, fam. She, at the very least, the top of F. But hell no, she is not a
Okay,
better
top,
person.
top F tier then. Fine.
I would have vetoed if you'd have argued stronger. Right, chat, are you saying that she's the only good thing of that show, or is Soul the only good thing of that show? Because I think Chimera is the only good thing of that show. Honestly, he's the best thing of it. She turned to the dark side because she saw a dude naked. I mean, it's true.
The thing is, People said the same thing about Ray.
So she did turn to the dark side, though. She's a better moral standards than Osha. Someone is a good character. Is he? We'll get to him.
I just want to put on record. I liked the Acolyte.
I
I
tolerated
really
it.
did. Either way, I think that it is a travesty that they did not give it another season to flesh things out because
I think
they have given far worse things much longer. They have given much worse things much more breathing room.
Acolyte had a lot of more potential than it had, and its focus should definitely have been on the Sith. It should have been a Sith-centric story. That's how it was pitched to us, and it wasn't as promised.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get to Soul in a little bit. We've got Padme to do next.
Um, A
Sure. I'm not going to argue against
again.
that. She's very much like Leia, who we'll get to again in a little bit.
She
She
is in the same way that Obi-Wan is the epitome of what a Jedi should be. She is the epitome of what a politician should be. Topical.
I'm just going to scroll back through to see what they said about Mon Mothma, because I think the sentiment for Mon fits very much. She is the heart and morality of the rebellion, as Mon Mothma. So I would say Padme is the heart and morality of the Republic.
Yeah. And unlike Mon, she actually has a bit of hands-on experience.
And yeah, Leia is on there twice. I pointed that out last week. I don't know why she's on there twice. You're on the Dune Sea, you're at one job. So yeah, I agree with you, A tier, but whereabouts in A?
I
mean, there may be an argument for S tier, actually. As a hero. Her morals are never compromised. She actively fights to liberate her home planet when greedy delegates try to blockade her. She is an active member of the Republic during the Clone Wars. She tries to fight for peace and serenity wherever she goes. There's a strong argument for S tier, maybe.
Okay. Let's put her between Kanan and Cere then.
Yeah, I could dig that. She believes Anakin still a good in him. Yeah.
Cere is S tier, but but of all the people on that list, she's more of a recluse.
Again, I can't really comment on Cere too much because I've only got the first game experience, and I don't know. Like personally, for me, with Cere, I'll drop her lower.
I shit you not, Cere. She is possibly in the same way as Obi-Wan, the epitome of what like a Jedi should be, at least by the end of her arc. But she shows little to no interest in the rebellion. And unlike Obi-Wan, she doesn't have the excuse of guarding the Chosen One.
Yeah, Padme believed in Anakin that he still had good in him on her deathbed, and she broke the peace treaty that got sabotaged in Clone Wars. Yeah, she did a lot of good. I'm happy with that for Padme. So we'll move on and we'll look at Plo Koon next. See, of all the Jedi, like I ranted about Mace earlier and how narrow-minded and politicized he is. Plo, yeah, I mean, he does fall into that overall category of a prequel Jedi, but also I would say he's more at the positive end of the spectrum when it comes to them. He's not so stifled by dogma. At least that's how Filoni presents him in Clone Wars. Just said if we take Legends into account, he's A tier. What did he do in Legends? That was so good. I'm kind of unfamiliar with his Legends backstory, guys.
Okay, yeah, but we haven't taken Legends into account with anyone else, so it'd be unfair to do it here. I'm willing to put him A tier at the highest.
Where's your heart telling you, really? Because that sounds like a compromise.
B tier.
Okay.
Maybe above Mon Mothma.
I mean, yeah, I'm personally fine with that. I'm not going to argue against it. It's just
again, it's more difficult. It's more difficult to judge with characters that don't have a comparative lack of screen time.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
So next up, we've got chat saying if I remember right, he stops for Hutts from starting a major war. Cool.
Oh, okay.
Poe Dameron. Again, he's good. I mean, he does have arguably a little bit of a checkered past when it comes to being a spice runner, But that really muddles the timeline because he was established as a New Republic pilot pre-sequel trilogy before that, and then Rise of Skywalker sods along and goes, no, he was a spice runner, and the publishing initiative have to go, shit, how do we fix that? How do we fed that in? Thank you, JJ. They fly now!
Wait,
Yeah.
so what's wrong with him being? Because can't they just say he was a spice runner before he was a New Republic pilot?
That's how they've rectified it. But it was very much a big whiplash at the time because the publishing initiative had set out a very distinct timeline for him, and then suddenly this film comes along, and goes, "Oh no, he was a spice runner in this period," and okay, JJ, how, what? All right, I'll stick it in here and retcon a few things, blah blah blah.
Okay, maybe put him next to Finn. Whether it's below or above, I'm not too sure.
One of his parents is the wiring pilot that survived the Death Star attack. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sasha
but we're
Bay, I
not
think her name is.
nepotists.
No, we're not. I mean, she's not Melissa. I'm not talking about her. So. Dear Finn, you say?
Yeah, certainly below Holdo.
Do you think?
Well, yeah, because for all the flack Holdo gets, she was absolutely right to keep him in the dark in The Last Jedi because at his worst, he he does get people killed if it means finishing the mission and kind of fails to take accountability for that.
Yeah, but does he not learn his lesson by the end of Last Jedi? Is he not a more refined leader in Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah, I suppose. It's just it again. There's I just for me at least, there's just not enough to work with to get too much of an educated placement.
My problem is I don't care enough for the sequel trilogy to read any more of the expanded universe books.
um,
Just saying, if this mutiny wasn't stopped by Leia, everyone would have died. Fair.
between Holdo and Finn,
Chat, what do you think quickly? You haven't said where you would put him. If y'all agree with that, I'll concede. I know that my gut at the minute is telling me he should be a bit higher than that, but we'll see what the populace. We are a democracy after all.
those do so well in the Star Wars universe.
Well, I love democracy. I love the Republic. I promise for power you give me, I will lay down this crisis as a it. Above Holdo, chat is saying.
That aged well.
Well, just above Holdo, under Akbar, is that what we're saying?
I'm willing to concede to that.
He grows. Yeah, he grows. All right. Because obviously there's a little bit of a delay, so sure. Okay, Princess Leia. Again, like mother, like brother, not like father, because he's a dick. S tier, I think.
Yeah, Esther.
But where in S is the question.
Decent point. Um, ew.
I think, considering her service records to both the Rebellion and the New Republic, and the lengths she goes to fight for peace and justice,
Above Luke?
hmm.
Something to consider.
See, before you said that, I was originally going to say between Luke and Ezra. Huh.
But she has a much more extensive service history than Luke.
This is true.
And she never withdraws at any point.
All right. Well done, Princess. Well done. Now, on the flip side of Han Solo's love interests, we've got Kira.
I am vaguely aware that she um that she's basically, I think, in the, because there's been like a whole comic thing where she basically got Crimson Dawn to back the rebellion or something.
I
But
can't remember the specifics of it.
Long story short, she does. I think in canon, unless there's been any further developments, she does go on to financially back the rebellion between Empire and Return of the Jedi. Oof.
She is Maul's bitch, though. and in between Empire and Jedi, Vader and the Emperor come along and like totally destroy Crimson Dawn. So whatever finance for was, that doesn't last long.
Wait, what? When did that happen?
It's the big comic event that happened over the last couple of years. Like it all started off because either the auction for Han while he was frozen in carbonite, and then Kira conducted this plot to try and destroy the Emperor using like this thing that caused massive disruptions within the Force and weakened Vader, especially for a time. And it was a very big, convoluted story arc. I barely kept up with it. But in the end, the Emperor himself dealt with the situation, much like he did with Maul and Savage in the Clone Wars. And Kira survived. She went off into hiding, and I think that's where you find her in Outlaws. But basically, if the Emperor went to town.
Oh, she's in Outlaws? Damn.
Yeah, she's in Outlaws.
Huh. I'll be damned.
But the Emperor went to town on
That's...
Crimson Dawn.
Well,
she's got to be F
I mean,
tier.
Is it really fair to call her Maul's bitch, considering that we never saw any of that relationship, and by the time she resurfaced in the comics, Maul had been canonically dead for years?
Yeah, but Maul, she knows Teres Kaze, which is Maul's fighting style. She has an education by him between Solo and where we catch up with her in Crimson Reign. She's F tier. She is. I mean, she's not a hero. She's barely a mad girl with a box. she's. I mean, maybe low D, because she's better than Osha. She's a better person than Osha. She's probably a better person than Fennec. So either top of F or low D. You must choose.
Low D.
Low D. I'll go low D.
Well, actually, no. Hang on a minute.
Oh.
I'd say a bloody high D, because it just. I'm sorry, I was just processing and all of that, but she nearly killed the Emperor.
I mean, I don't know if she came close to killing the Emperor. Not really.
But like, she went directly on the offensive to Palpatine and Vader, though.
True.
That's gotta earn her some points.
Okay, yeah, right, okay. I think because she's morally grey, I won't stick her any further than Greef Karga.
Very well.
And now we've got Qui-Gon Jinn.
S tier.
S tier, I agree.
Between Ezra and Obi-Wan.
Well, you think he's more of a hero than Obi-Wan?
Well, again, it's kind of going into that logic, and that everything good about Obi-Wan came from Qui-Gon.
I mean, he was his master.
And compared to like Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan was the stick in the mud.
This is true. Things would have been different if Qui-Gon had survived the Duel of the Fates.
Mm.
He is a bit of a rogue
And
of the Jedi Order, ready to do what must be done. He is what a Jedi should be. Yeah.
Anakin needed a father, not a brother.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Liam Neeson, well done. The Naked Gun himself goes in S.
Beat me to it, but in 1 second.
He is
Like
taken.
word for word.
He has taken the moral high ground.
Oh dear. We merely adopted the high ground, Obi-Wan. I was born in it. Anyway, Captain T-Rex himself.
His name is Rex, Captain, 501st Battalion.
I don't know what the accent was, but
I don't know what it was either. But anyway, CT-7567 himself, Captain Rex.
He is the ultimate. He is the peak of clones.
Yeah.
So maybe put him above 5s.
I was thinking A myself, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe between Hera and Omega?
I mean, yeah, I'd probably say that, because he's obviously probably the greatest soldier in the Clone Wars. Yeah, he goes into that retirement period, yeah.
Yeah, which I still want to see how that happens, by the way.
Damn you, Bad Batch! But yeah, I mean, he's one of the key fighters of the Clone Wars. He continues to serve after the Empire reigns, but he tries to free the clones that are under the Empire's control. He does have that period of retirement, but then he returns to active service for the rebellion. He fights at least up until the Battle of Endor. He's one of the only clones that tried to fight Order 66, as chat says. Yeah, he's a solid bloke. Yeah, I mean, where you say between Hera and Omega, yeah.
I say this with zero irony, no punnage intended. He is the ultimate trooper.
Yeah. Just suggesting low S. I mean, I think maybe Ahsoka and Hera are more heroic, possibly.
Yeah, and his. Even though we don't know his specific reasons, he does give up on the Clone Rebellion by the time he has given up on the Clone Rebellion by the time of Rebels.
Yeah, that's the main thing that holds him down, I think.
Yeah. Again, want to see how that happened.
I think like Ahsoka does kind of give up on any rebellion of the Jedi for like a year after Revenge of the Sith, but it is only a year, and by the end of her book, she's back in Beswinger's Fulcrum, so she has one up on Rex for that, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, there is a difference between being brainwashed, being like temporarily brainwashed into genocide, and being victim of said genocide.
Hmm. Now, is Omega more of a hero than him, though?
Not to say, we don't know. We know that she does an awful lot. I'd say she practices the absolute. She practices her agency in a Bad Batch to the absolute maximum that she can. In terms of like overall achievement and stuff, she does go on to join the rebellion, but we don't really know what she gets up to after that. And I'd say that Rex, he's just got such a much longer record, and just in terms of like sheer volume of shit he's done.
Okay. I'll put him
Yeah,
between her and her then.
yeah. Again, Omega is as high as he is because she does like absolute. She takes every opportunity to do everything she can in her limited circumstance.
Yeah, sure. Right. So now we've got Ray Palpa Skywalker T No Nobody Ray.
Um,
Hmm. It's tricky because, like, when you look at Ray in the films, she's obviously an immensely heroic character. Her first instinct is to try and help BB-8. She sticks by for resistance. Her focus is very much on trying to free the galaxy from the clutches of the First Order and to redeem Kylo. And
isn't afraid to put a tough word to Luke Skywalker,
exactly,
which is a massive deal to her because he's like a bloody. He is almost like a mythical figure to her, and she has the bollocks to call him out on his shit.
she stands up to the ultimate evil in Palpatine.
And
I,
she
I,
also overcomes. She overcomes in the end her her greatest kind of obstacle, which is her need to belong. Whether that, which kind of boils down to family, which is kind of cannibalized against her with the return of Palpatine. And granted, she really doesn't have like she really doesn't have any good reason to um, join up with Palpatine and Kylo anyway. But
I mean, she has a decent bit of darkness within her, as the sequels do try to portray. But at the end of the
varying
day,
degrees of
her yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, her heroism, despite what people think of the character and the sequels, we're basing this off heroism, and because of that, I think that the argument is super strong, actually, for S tier.
another thing that I appreciate that is displayed about her in The Last Jedi is that she has that trait in Luke. That she shares a trait in like Luke in his prime to seeing the good in other people. In the case of in the case of The Last Jedi, it with Ben slash Kylo, is she is optimistic to a fault because that because she is so willing to kind of throw go all in on the faith in like faith of other people, and to the point where that has backfired on her spectacularly.
I mean, chat, I hear
Granted,
you. You're saying chat low A, high B. I mean, it's difficult because the story gets destroyed like a lot of sequel characters. She wanted to give up at the end of Force Awakens and early part of Last Jedi made it lose this. Yeah, but also we're not basing this on the story of the sequel trilogies. We're basing it off what she does in terms of heroism. And despite whatever production problems the sequels went through, whatever story changes for were, that's irrelevant in this context.
yeah.
I think there's an argument for S tier, honestly. Say what you will about
Yeah.
her as a person, as a character, the heroic deeds that she does, honestly.
I would either put her between Padme and Kanan or between Padme and Seer.
Let's put her between Padme and Seer because we should acknowledge the dark side essence within her.
Yeah, and yeah. And I'd say that Padme gets a few points ahead of her just because of how proactive she is.
Yeah, chat agrees with that. Okay, I'm sure we'll get absolutely no negative feedback for our analysis of Rey at all, will we? And I'm sure everybody will be hunky dory and positive about our next candidate, Rose Tico.
Again, heroic to a fault in the like the very limited amount we get with her. Um, though her heart was in the right place, but stopping Finn from kamikazing the battering ram was a really stupid move, ostensibly.
Yeah. I think we put Rose in C tier with a lot of the other rebellion soldiers that we've got, honestly.
Scruffy looking?
Well, I
Okay.
mean, that's where we put Jyn Erso and Cassian and Kara and Hunter and Cody. I think she's on their
Okay,
level.
let's put her between Cassian and Kara then.
Is she not more of a hero than Cassian?
I'll put her, I want to put her below Cassian because even though she is fiercely heroic, she is also ostensibly shown like her crashing into Finn. I think explicitly shows that she is unwilling to kind of, whether it be via herself or other people, she is unwilling to kind of cooperate with the sacrifice play. She doesn't have the grit. But maybe hard to say about herself, but she certainly doesn't have the grit to accept the self sacrifice play from another person.
I mean, part of the problem with
Because
Cassian
she,
is that his story's only half done, so I don't know the full extent as to how much of a good person he is.
yeah,
Okay.
but he does, yeah. I'd say Cassian will put the mission first, whereas Rose kind of impeded. She, yeah, she kind of impeded a potential um, small victory in the Battle of Scarif. Even though there's, I mean, do you think that Finn kamikazing would have taken out the battering ram?
Well, first of all, you don't mean Scarif, you mean Crate. Scarif was
Yeah,
Rogue One.
sorry, so many goddamn planets.
I don't know that it would have destroyed the battering ram cannon. It's such a small little skim freighter, isn't it? I don't know that it would have. Not really.
Mm.
A noble sacrifice, but in vain. Anyway, next up, Sabine Wren. Yeah, she's a solidly good
Certainly
person.
somewhere on it here, along with most of the rest of the Rebels crew.
I would agree, yes. She helps fight to liberate Mandalore to the best of her ability. Yeah, she makes some cock up along the way with the Duchess, but she atones for her mistake. She she's the I think the epitome of what a Mandalorian should strive to be. Despite people's feelings to her portrayal in the Ahsoka show, because I think some people did take a bit of issue with her, not Natasha's portrayal of her, but just Sabine's activities
Just
and
like,
character motivations.
I mean, like a pretty considerable um, bit of character development has happened with her off screen, which is frustrating. Which is the Knights of a Thousand Tears, because that in the Ahsoka show was shown to like have had a massive effect on her because didn't it basically get confirmed that her family died in that?
It's heavily insinuated, yeah.
Yeah.
That's something we should have seen, definitely.
Yeah, it's
Considering the development she had in Rebels was so good.
next year, Lucasfilm, give us Tales of the Rebellion and show us some of this essential shit happening on screen.
Tales of the
Like
Mandalorians.
either Tales of the Rebellion or Tales of the New Republic.
Or Rangers of the New Republic. Remember that?
No?
Remember when droids was meant to be a thing, like a droid's tale? Remember that? Remember how excited we were for that?
God. They really were going full Marvel, weren't they?
Moral of the story: never trust Lucasfilm when it comes to announcements. Heck, we can barely trust we can barely trust Marvel nowadays. Blade, remember that?
Just don't post roadmaps. That's subject to change.
Yeah, Disney, learn, idiots. Right,
Yeah.
Sabine, I agree with A tier. I agree with chat saying just below Rex. Between her and between Rex and Omega, yeah. We love you, Sabine. You're going right. And then we've got the kids from Skeleton Crew, who I can't remember a single name of them apart from Neil. I mean, the kids, they're decently heroic, but they're not going any higher than C tier.
Yeah, they are kind of scruffy looking.
I'm going to put them low C because I mean they're reasonably heroic. They go on a mad adventure, but at the end of the day, look at everybody else on this list.
Yeah. But they don't really have much business even being on this list, to be honest.
No. I'd put them rock bottom of C, to be honest.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Easy teasy. Right, Sol.
Oh, Sol.
D.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to fight harder for that.
No, I really do like Sol, but he did such a he fucked up so bad.
Not a good person, really. Despite his best intentions, no. He got out the Squid Game, and it messed with him so hard.
God. Just like fundamental, he is like. I don't want to go as far as to say he's the epitome of what a Jedi shouldn't be, but like he gaslit himself into thinking it was the will of the Force to abduct. I mean, there is.
Chat popping up. Just open your mouth, Sol. Say your mum was turning into a shadow monster demon thing.
Uh, the thing is, like, the events of that night were what was the other guy's name? Who's basically it was entirely his fault.
Oh God. It's your guy from Game of Thrones. I don't know because he fucking necks himself, doesn't he?
Master Senpuku.
Was it Torben?
Yeah, Torben.
Or was that his Game of Thrones
Yeah,
name? I
because
don't know at this point.
no. It was Torben, I believe. Please correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Um, but yeah, like the massacre was fundamentally Torben's fault. Um, in terms of the shit that happens, but Salt does not help. And granted, it was either save Osha or like just save one of them or let them both die. But everything that happens afterwards, lying about it and everything is, oh
Oh, Tommen was his
yeah.
Game of Thrones name. Okay. Hey, when you want to break some witch's bad, you better call Sol. Okay. I'm so sorry. I've been cooking up that joke for like the last 2 minutes. I'm so sorry.
uh
Put me in D tier for that.
you an F tier for that.
Okay, fair
um
enough.
uh Certainly a better person than Iden.
Boo, get off the stage. Is he better than Iden? Is he? Is he really?
Iden was Imperial Special Forces. And again, as I've said time and time again, if it had been any planet other than her homeworld that she saw get cooked, she would never have even defected.
Hey, she was a dutiful servant of the galactic government just doing her job, okay? Sol was part of a cult, a galactic space cult, who did a small genocide, a small oopsie on an abandoned planet, and then got choked out for his issues. Go on, argue against that. Yeah, I thought so.
Just put him below Jar Jar.
Are we happy with this chat? Can we not put him in F? Alright, fine. He goes
Like,
below Jar Jar.
Soul does get some credit for essentially spending years basically playing damage control on the shit that happened, but it doesn't make up for it, and he should have just fessed up.
Right, next, we're ignoring the second spontaneous layer that's on there. Is it Tala from Obi-Wan? I forget her name in real life. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Another member of the Hidden Path, right?
Yeah. Oh, what's her actual in real life name? Bugger. Hang on. I've got to look it up because it's actually bothering me. It's Indira Varma. Yep. I didn't need to Google. I knew it. I knew it. Yeah, but Tala, Hidden Path. Yeah, she's all right. She's
Just
again
put her next
probably a
to
C.
Hello John.
Put her next to a
Yeah.
fellow chum. Yeah, and maybe I'll put her in between Cody and Baze.
Why?
She's a bit more of an active player than Ice Cube's descendant.
Okay.
Tick. The second to last of the Bad Batches we've got to go through. Tick.
If you did pronounce it that way again, I will put you in F tier so bad you'll need to veto yourself out of it.
Tick.
Yeah, Lawrence is certified F tier, everybody.
You said S to begin with. I'm certified S tier.
Yeah, well, I'm going to spend my veto moving you down to F.
No! The unlimited power! Okay. Chat's saying C.
Yeah.
With the rest of them. Sure.
Yeah.
Would be maybe, considering the redemption Crosshair goes through, I'd maybe put him as the lowest of the Bad Batches.
He does make the self-sacrifice play, though.
Oh, this is true. Ooh. Ooh.
Between Hunter and Crosshair?
Yeah, fine.
With all the batches lined up together.
Grogu! Little baby yogurt pop.
Eh?
Yeah, why is he on here? You see who we're going to end this with as well. It's weird.
Should we just make another tier where it just says victim?
Grogu, Grogu, like, he's not a hero.
Let's put Scruffy looking along with the rest of the rebels and child murderers.
What? I mean, I want to put him honestly with the Skeleton Crew kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I said C tier, didn't I?
You said yeah, but I didn't understand what the rest of that bit was. Anyway,
Put him in C tier with the rest of the rebels and the child murderers because he did eat that lady's eggs.
Oh yeah, bottomless C for that man. Diabolical. Then we've got, so she's another character from Andor. Is it Val? Or am I getting my Vel? She's Mon Mothma's cousin, Vel Sartha. She was also in the Doctor Who episode last Christmas. She was the gobby one in that.
I've not. You're going to be mad at me. I haven't seen the Doctor Who premiere yet.
It was all right. It's a decent opener. Robot Revolution. Better than last year's opener.
Oh well, I look forward to watching it after we've concluded everything.
Vel, I mean, I'll probably again put her in the same bracket as Cassian.
Does she even survive the heist?
Yeah, she keeps popping up throughout the first season. She's in season 2, I believe.
Okay.
She's like the only other survivor.
Right.
I'd say C. Maybe stick her just above Cassian, possibly. This is based on the El Downey arc that I've just come fresh off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still very fuzzy. I need to do Andor again soon.
Wedge Antilles, star pilot of the Rebellion. Helped destroy 2 Death Stars.
And part-time gracious host for like I don't know. I was gonna make some joke about him being in the bloody Aardman short, but
stepfather to Snap Rexley. He's got a decent part in the books. Legends fans with the Rogue Squadrons would adore him. I would say an A tier for Wedge.
Yeah, okay. Veteran of the battles of Yavin and Endor.
I would actually stick him somewhere where Rex is.
Okay, sure.
Oh, above or below
Also
Rex,
had
though?
also had the balls, had the conies to defect from the Imperial Academy.
Yeah. A chat suggesting S tier for him.
Spicy.
I mean, I can understand that.
I
I
mean,
don't
if they're
know.
doing that on the principle of his role in destroying the Death Star, then you'd take into account Lando being responsible for the destruction of the Death Star too, as well.
This is true.
Why not put him below
Oh,
Lando?
below Lando in bit. No, no, he's higher. He's got to be. Maybe the bottom of S. Maybe.
If you insist, you
I, it's,
clearly know
it's
more about him than I
I mean, I kind of do because he's in a lot more of the books, and I've read more of the books, and he's just a good dude, and he's always there for the good guys. He never
do. In the
steps away from a
background.
fight. Yeah, but like
Yeah.
he's.
I'm not refuting you at all.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
sure. Bottom of S tier.
I'm gonna stick in between Ray and Seer.
Yeah, that's a fair point because again, Sia didn't have anything to do with the rebellion.
Man, the more I look at this, I don't know about Seer being an S tier. I just don't know. Like again, I've not played the second game, so I don't know half of her story. But her being
Okay,
there for
let
some reason is giving me bad vibes, and I don't know why.
okay, let's. Uh,
But I am coming from a place of ignorance, admittedly.
I will not accept Sia being below A tier. I'm willing
Chat,
to
have we got any feeling
compromise.
on her? Where are you compromising? What are you thinking?
Like I'm willing to compromise and like put her somewhere on A tier rather than S, but no lower.
We'll come back to her and see what
Because
the viewers say, I think, because I'm just
because
not sure.
while she doesn't play an active role in the rebellion, in her in the space that she has and just kind of doing her own thing, she is such she by the end of Jedi Survivor, she is such an image of what a Jedi Master should be.
We'll come back to her. We'll look at her
And
again at
she
the
is
end.
also and she is also helping out the hidden path as well.
If she goes to A, it will need to be top of A, says chat. I honestly, I don't know because I don't know half of her story. It's the issue. Anyway, we'll look at it again in the end. So, Rekka, we've got 4 more people to do before we return to that. So, Rekka, the last of the Bad
Uh
Batch is here.
Very good natured, but fundamentally he is of all of the Bad Batch, he has the most sidekick vibes. I'd say put him below. I don't know whether to put him above or below Crosshair, really. Probably below, if I'm being honest.
Oh, I don't know. I was actually going to say above. I was going to make the argument for between Rekka and Echo, and between Hunter and Echo. Because yeah, he's the
That's
sidekick, but
you
he's
you
there
mean
just having
between
fun.
you mean You mean between Hunter and Tech?
Yeah. Shows you
I
what I
was going to
think of
say
them all, doesn't it? I can't remember their names.
between Hunter and Echo. You have any idea how little that narrows it down?
It shows you what I think of them, and I can't distinguish them all from one another.
You got a problem with clones?
Apparently, apparently. Um, but I mean, yeah, he's there having fun, and sure, there's a certain more oomph about him willing to do something heroic. I think if like Omega's life is in danger, for example, he'll be one of the first, if not the first, to drop everything to rescue her. More so than Tech, probably more so than Crosshair. Maybe to a degree more so than Hunter.
That's no.
No?
I want to shoot that down because the only reason he'd be more like vocal than Hunter is because he doesn't think things through. Hunter absolutely would throw himself into like the fire for someone else. He just takes a moment to figure out the semantics of it first.
But in terms of heroic
Whereas
nature.
Wrecker just kind of jumps straight into the blender.
But does that not make Wrecker more heroic by nature?
Uh Again, depends on your definition of heroic.
Alright, well, look at the definition then. The definition, let's remind ourselves, a person who is admired for their courage, outstanding achievements, or noble qualities. I'd say he's noble and definitely courageous.
And I suppose he did technically blow up Trench's ship.
Yeah.
Fine, I'll concede.
I want to pop him right there, I think.
Even if Anakin gave him the button. And it was basically just it was a pity detonation because Crosshair.
Chat wants to put him in B tier.
Mm,
I don't know about that.
No, because he's not. The reason that Echo is in such a higher league than his cohorts is because he is. Well, let's face it. Out of all the Bad Batch, he's the only one that really goes as far as to become a freedom fighter.
Yeah.
Whereas the rest of them are very. I don't want to say self-serving, but it's about the group. Whereas Echo really goes out there and goes out of his way to protect others,
Agreed.
which is what puts him and Omega, who does so herself, albeit in she doesn't have as much agency as Echo, um, which makes kind of what she does pull off a bit more impressive. Hence why she's above him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Yaddle.
Oh, Yaddle. We were so close.
We got so far, and in the end, it didn't even matter. Problem with Yaddle is that we just don't see enough of her. Are we basing this off of like one short?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, she acknowledges like the shortcomings of the Jedi, but too little, too late.
I think she has like a massive sacrifice thing in Legends that Anakin is maybe partially responsible for, but again, that's Legends, so.
Okay, I heard like two parts. Like, for one, legend, no legends, but it's just like sacrifice, but then what Anakin was responsible. I'm sorry. Like, is it a sacrifice if someone else is actively responsible for it.
I don't
I
know
think that
the specifics of what happened. I just remember
I
reading
think
somewhere.
I think the technical term for that is manslaughter. Yes. Yeah. When I went careening off the road, unfortunately, that bystander made the ultimate sacrifice.
It was her decision to jump onto my front window.
Better call Saul.
She broke my windscreen bad. Medical soul. Dear.
God damn.
Yeah, I don't know.
Uh,
I see with the rest of the prequel Jedi. He says, with Mace being the only prequel
I'll,
Jedi in there.
I'll say this: she is higher than where Yoda is going to go.
Is she? Wow, okay. I'm curious as to where your spicy point of view for Yoda's going to be. I mean, Yaddle, you killed off before the Clone Wars, so we can't even judge you on a war record. Uh, she is sure she stands up to the Dark Lord himself, but
Let's put her just below Cody.
below COVID, okay. Yeah, COVID Cody.
I think that Yoda is a top tier nerf herder.
Oh, okay.
Because
Preach.
yeah, because he fundamentally like. I mean, sure, he is on a personal basis. He is wise and just a really chill dude and all of that. But his failure as Grandmaster of the Jedi during the Clone Wars is so goddamn monumental. And also the fact, and I'll have to double check where I read this sometime. I don't know if like, I think it was like on the wiki and it was like came up in either like the novels or one of the shorts or something. Um, is that those clones that he was with in Ambush?
Yeah, like Commander Fire is one of the shock troopers with Palpatine in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. Um, he like in his meditations after the fact, he glimpsed the future of each of those troopers, and he knew that. Well, he vaguely knew how two of them would die, though
And
not clearly
also,
enough.
there is that trippy arc in Clone Wars Season 6 where he essentially does get spoilers about the rest of the saga, don't they?
Yeah, yeah.
But conversely, High Republic, he tries to save the galaxy from the Nile and the Nameless and all of the other bad things in those times. He fights to preserve liberty during the Clone Wars with the best of intentions. He goes toe to toe with Palpatine, the ultimate darkness, to try and save the galaxy. Sure, he fails, but he tries. He is instrumental in training the New Hope in Luke, and his
For about
training goes a long
for just
way.
under a week.
Well, we don't know what the time frame of Empire is. It's really weird on Dagobah, and we don't know how
I think
long Han and Leia are traveling to Bespin.
the general consensus that I hear is that Empire Strikes Back takes place roughly over the course of a week.
I genuinely don't know. I think it's very up for debate. I
In
think
any
Pablo
case, he doesn't
Hidalgo
train
did
Luke.
discuss it once on Twitter. It would take me a while to hunt that down.
My point being is that he certainly doesn't train. He only trains Luke for a couple days at most.
We don't know. I don't know. I can't comment on that because I would need to research the time frame of Empire. Yeah, his good outweighs his bad. I agree with that. He's not as flawed as a person as Mace, I don't think. And Luke's saying, I always thought the Dagobah section in Cloud City is a month. I honestly don't know. It's a grey area. Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. I think pop him just above Mace. Because he has, he's very much caught up in the dogma, stigma once again. He's very much a prequel Jedi. And these are all negatives, these are all things that brings him down. But he is more pure than most. He's always trying to be on the good side, as you say in chat. He just doesn't do the fullest of things that a Jedi should be doing in that era. But he's a better guy than Mace Windu.
Yeah. Okay. Still, I stand by the fact that of all of the failures in the saga, his is one of the most monumental.
Well, yes, but despite that, as a hero,
Yeah, not disagreeing.
I'd maybe put him above Din Djarin, to be honest. Maybe between Han and Din.
I would go as far to say that Din Djarin's a better Mandalorian than Yoda is a Jedi.
I mean, maybe. But in terms of outright heroism on a galactic scale, Yoda's fought for Drengir, the Nile, the Nameless, the Sith, the Separatists. All major threats to the galaxy and peace. Din,
Okay,
he's
but
picked
then
up a
by that
baby
logic,
and
would you put him
childminded.
above? But in that
Din,
logic, would you put him above Anakin? Yeah, I thought so.
Well, the chat's vetoing, saying Yoda is B. I think it's fair we
Hey,
give
the
chat a
chat doesn't
veto.
get a veto.
No, I think it's fair that they do. If we both have a veto, and I'm actually tempted to say, yeah, maybe he is more of a hero than Anakin. Because we're basically basing Anakin primarily off the Clone Wars. Well, Yoda was at least 800 years old by that time. I'm trying to include
you're the one. Just to point out, Anakin's only as high as he is because of your insistence.
Well, I'm also putting Vader in there, but I'm also basing Yoda off High Republic shenanigans, not just prequels. And
Okay, so B tier then, fine.
Do you want to veto chat's veto? You can try.
No. I do not care enough.
You don't care enough.
And besides, I did already use my veto anyway.
Did you? On what?
On you.
Wow. Wow. I'm going to stick him low C. Low B, below Finn.
Is that fucking Babu Frick?
Is Babu Frick? So the meme of Beyond the Dune C and their list is that they put him in S tier because they are batshit about Babu Frick.
Throw that fucker in D tier.
Yeah. I'm putting him, but I'll put him just above Cobb. he's not in it for any heroism. He's in there to pick C-3PO's brain. That's the only contribution he does. Yeah. So there we go. I suppose. Have we got any last
Oh,
minute rearrangements?
and let's put Leia next to Leia.
I'm just going to leave that layer down. But I don't know why she's there twice. But anyway, that appears to be the list. Have we got any last minute rearrangement? I think like we were going to come back to Sia, weren't we? I don't know. Did chat actually give an opinion on Sia? If she goes to A, it will need to be top of A, is what they said. I still got my veto, don't I? Ooh, who actually? Let me think about that. Who would I veto? Ooh, man, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know where I'll go with that.
You don't need to use your veto.
No, I'm the only one who hasn't. No,
I like how we're just accepting it. I love how we're just accepting it as canon that I used my veto to put you specifically in F tier.
Well, you know what? Okay, my veto. If I'm going in F tier, you're going in F tier with me. Yeah, there we go.
I'm okay with this.
You're okay with this, yeah. I mean, I was thinking maybe is Ahsoka like a bottom of S tier, but then I'm thinking about some of the character flaws, and yeah, high A makes sense. I feel like I've been wasting it on Sia, honestly, just because I don't know. I'm bunkmates with Boba. We're bunkmates with Boba. Yeah, I mean, hey, I used to be crazy about Boba Fett. Here's a little thing, Luke. I discussed at the beginning of stream. My video plan for May 4th is to talk about these old comics that Titan used to put out. And judging from my collection here, I used to be nuts about Boba Fett. I would collect these solely for the Fettmeister himself, New Zealand's finest. You know, I used to. I'm okay with being bunk mates with him. That's what I'm saying.
Some feta cheese on that shit.
Feta cheese. My God. The Venusian spa has some feta cheese. Jesus, what we're doing. Well, I'm reasonably happy with that list. After what, 2 lines and 2 films? Hey, dude, expanded universe. Boba Fett's a badass. Not in canon, he sucks in canon. But EU, yeah. He's the rule of cool. He's what all Mandos are based on. He is a the Shizer McGeyser.
I will say, as far as like spent old like legend stuff goes, is that until they do something significant on screen to contradict it, I still accept the Bounty Hunter game as at least personally canon for Django, and I just kind of justify it by convincing myself that Gardula survived getting eaten by the fucking thing.
There's also like Django's meeting with Dooku is being retconned by comics, so that doesn't match up either. But
hence why I said on screen.
no, I agree. Like, it is part of my headcanon as well. In fact, I did watch the gameplay movie of Bounty Hunters as part of my marathon that I'm doing at the minute. So
yeah, and I mean like the whole Kamari Vossa thing, and the way her lightsabers get passed over to Ventress still flows really well.
yeah.
And even though like Vosa's existence does kind of clash with the likes of Dooku Jedi Lost and all of that, but mm, it's not too much of a far fetched to think he had to kind of think of him having a rogue apprentice at some point.
No, I accept it.
I mean, like her existence doesn't contradict Jedi Lost any more than Tales of the Jedi does, with him still being at the bloody temple.
I've only listened to part of Dooku Jedi Lost. I've actually got it on Audible.
It's
I start.
give it a full listen. It's a good listen.
I intend to. I only got so far, and then other like real life stuff started getting in the way, so I accidentally dropped out of it. But I'll get back to it at some point. Like where did I drop
It gives
off?
you
I dropped off after he had like a sparring contest with one of the Temple Masters. I think he'd met his sister at that point.
yeah. It I wouldn't go as far to say that it gives you an idea of like who he becomes by the time the prequel trilogy comes around, but it gives you a starting point of like I think it paints a picture that even though Tales of a Jedi having him at the temple contradicts um like this the way he left the order in Jedi Lost. I feel like his fall to the dark side depicted in Tales of a Jedi definitely finishes painting the picture that Jedi Lost started.
Fair enough. Are we happy with the list? I think I am.
Yeah, maybe.
Cool. Right. So that then, ladies and jelly beans, has been our Star Wars tier list courtesy of At Beyond for Dune Sea. Yay! And hey,
Woo! Stealing.
we managed it under 2 hours this time, which is good.
Yeah, I was gonna
So
say record time.
yeah. So I'm thinking that we'll wrap the stream up in a minute. Next week, as I said very early on in stream, my intention is to try and do a bit of gameplay for The Last of Us Part 2 because season 2 of The Last of Us is coming out on Monday. At least the first episode of it is. Not that I've seen the HBO series at all, but I just thought now would be a good time to play the game. I'm going to do maybe a private stream on my own, in private, obviously, to just test OBS's capabilities of live streaming a game. Because again, the last time I tried with Spider-Man, frame rate issues, it wasn't watchable really. So fingers crossed, next weekend I'll be coming out with that. And then for the people who prefer it, that I do the typical Let's Play series. What I might do is put together like a highlight few episodes from the live stream with a bit of narrative over it. Experiment with doing it that way, like a storytelling sort of video, and see where we go with that. I'll figure it out. Either way, I do want to cover Last of Us Part 2, and I do want to cover the third Tomb Raider game in some degree. And then Dan will probably cover gameplay stuff. Having said that, there's a couple of Steam games like Emily is Away that I want to cover via live stream. So we'll do that. Chat is requesting book and comic reviews as well. Well,
Maybe in the near future, like we might even be able to do some like co-op things, like It Takes Two or Split Fiction, maybe.
we'll see. As regards to the request for comic reviews, so May 4th, like I said, my plan is to do a video covering these old Star Wars magazines. But I want to do a series on the Panini Spectacular Spider-Man Adventures comics, if y'all remember them from the past. So I want to
Oh,
do a
maybe we
deep.
could do a comic dub.
I mean, I don't know how much of a breach of copyright that is, but We'll see. But I'd certainly want to do a deep dive, like almost comic historian style, into the Spectacular Spider-Man Adventures comics because I collected lots of them. My knowledge of them goes from issue 100 onwards, so I don't know the first 100 issues particularly well at all. But I think that would be a fascinating subject because I think that's a Spider-Man magazine slash comic that's generally not well known. So to educate folks on that, which was my childhood Spider-Man, would be very interesting indeed. And also, like I think that these Star Wars mags aren't well known, so it'd be interesting to illuminate, especially overseas, like Americans, what these are all about. FYI, they're just basically reprints of the Dark Horse comics. But anyway, I'll discuss them at a later date. So yeah, book slash comic reviews, a high possibility. We'll see. Right, have we got any closing thoughts from you, my friend?
If I see another tier list again, it'll be too soon.
You think you read Vader vs. Maul? It was good. Vader vs. Maul was good. Resurrection. For ways those who are no more can live again if the hate is strong enough. That quote has stuck with me all my life.
Yeah, well, in any case, it was better than that old. I don't know if it ever made it to the channel, but this was certainly less of a slog than that MCU tier list we did.
Yeah, we did an MCU tier list way back in the day.
Yeah, I'm saying I don't know if that made it onto the channel.
Yeah.
Right. Well, if anyone ever goes back to that, that's peak misery.
Maybe just because there's four of us and Anthony can waffle a little bit.
Yeah. Also, I think I'm fairly certain the MCU has more films than Star Wars has protagonists at this point.
Those are the days, eh? Those are the days.
Yeah.
Right, well, with that, we shall leave you and love you, everyone. So, thank you, everybody, so much for stopping by and checking out this stream with us. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share it around to help out the channel. And until the next time, we'll see you all later.
See you later.
Now, bye bye, everyone. Get out of here. Bye bye.